The three dictators of Staropolis became what they are now because they are filthy rich. So they bought every building in town so they control the land. And us. We didn't sell the buildings to them. They just threatened to arrest us and execute us in the worst way possible, which I'm not even going to explain because they're just downright cruel and evil. Instead of caring about the people like they should, they just care about themselves. They treat us like slaves and make us follow their every command, having the power of 1,000 nuclear weapons at their fingertips. Ugh, school. Have I mentioned that? I don't have any friends, so I just hang out with my two brothers who also don't know I'm corrupted. All anybody can ever talk about at school is the stupid eclipse. But it's not just any solar eclipse, it's the New Year's eclipse, which apparently is going to be accompanied by a meteor shower. They also say that it's supposed to have all sorts of colored sun rays coming out from behind the moon. To be honest, I don't think it will look that cool, but everybody just keeps gushing about it. It's exactly like the eclipse of August 21st, 2015. That time, we didn't see Bailey's beads or the diamond ring effect, both phases of an eclipse. Everybody just kept talking about that, and I watched it from inside a locked room, and we could barely see it. It barely looked like night, and like usual, my corruption kicked in. My doctors told me not to try to let any lights hit me, but when I tried that, it didn't work, and I went crazy like all the corruptos do. All right, class. You all know that the New Year's eclipse is coming. Are you excited? If you are, let me hear you, my teacher yelled. The class screamed in excitement. Today, you will be writing an eclipse-themed card to our three wonderful dictators to show how happy and thankful you are to be getting an invite to the middle of town to see this wonderful event. Like I said, our dictators aren't any good for us or our city. I think everybody in my class got some sort of poisonous gas that our dictators just happen to have hidden in the secret compartment in their castle. Don't ask me how I even know that. Mr. Galaxy talks about it all the time to his rich friends. Mr. Galaxy is one of Tara Heller's assistants, who are treated like they are diamond-encrusted shoes made out of tiger skin or something. For all I know, Tara might have a pair of shoes like that. For the rest of the day, we just did the other solar eclipse-related activities. And when we had to draw things, I just drew the same thing over and over again. The diamond ring effect, a phase of the eclipse right before the total eclipse when there's this huge section of light that makes the sun and moon look like giant diamond rings, which is where it probably got its name from. And speaking of the diamond ring effect, I didn't do my letter. To be honest, I don't care if I get an F on it. That's just how much I hate our rulers. When I got home, I forgot all about the letter that was sent to the whole town. I couldn't believe it. I forgot to take it and shred it before my parents got to it. I knew I should have tried to crash the mail truck. Oh look, the New Year's eclipse is tomorrow. I'm just so glad that Mr. and Mrs. Hellers took time to send this lovely letter to the whole town. And thank goodness that we don't have any corrupted kids, said my mom. I started to get nervous. I went up to my room and started to think about what would happen if my parents forced me to go see the eclipse, which they always do. And then my corruption kicked in. Would they be mad, sad, disappointed, or a little bit of everything? I know that Tara intentionally put "bring your corrupted kids with you" into that invite just so she could smile at the thought of killing us off one by one. I don't even know what to say, so I just passed out. When I woke, I realized that I was in our car and that we were going to see the eclipse, and I couldn't escape. When we got there, my parents started talking to all of their friends. While they were doing that, I ran off and started to melt down like the one time the nuclear power plant had a nuclear meltdown. Unfortunately for me, my nosy brother Skylar followed me and just stared at me like I was stupid or something. Thing about Skylar is that he doesn't talk much, unless he's had a lot of sugar. The eclipse was about to start. Suddenly, I felt my hands shaking, and when I looked at them, they had glowing green computer chip designs on them, which is the first step of corruption. Luckily, I brought a pair of gloves with me. And when I took them out of my pocket, I only had one, and the other one was probably with Jay, because he likes to steal my stuff and mess around with it. He probably filled my glove with water to use it as a makeshift water balloon. I really needed that glove right now, but since I didn't have it, I just put my other hand in my pocket. I hoped nobody would see it. I was wrong. "Mommy, what's wrong with that boy's arm?" a little girl yelled out. Next step of corruption, those green marks travel up your arms really fast. And I just now noticed that Jay cut off the arm of my jacket to use as another makeshift water balloon. At this time, I really wish water balloons didn't exist. Everybody stared at me, and Jay laughed until he saw me. Tears were running down my face, which was also covered with green computer chip designs by now. Suddenly, I stopped crying and became angry. So angry that I felt like attacking somebody, especially Jay. And in an instant, I became fully corrupted, acting like a wild animal since I couldn't control myself. I can't remember what happened next, but I think I attacked Jay along with a few others, and the only thing I can remember is getting a poisonous dart in my back and passing out. Well, 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 who do we have here? Poor, helpless Halo, stuck in here and now hated by all the citizens of Staropolis. I feel so bad for you, because you're never going to see the world or say goodbye to it either, said Tara, whose icy blue eyes burned me. After Tara talked to me, her guards picked up my cage and threw it in a dark room, where I just sat there, hopeless. I should have ran away from Staropolis and returned the next day or something to hide my corruption. But of course, I made the wrong decision and got captured, and now I have to be executed for some stupid reason. If there's one critical thing I learned about my condition, it's that it can never spread. It only happens to you if you're born with it, or if you have a computer chip inside of your body somewhere, and it got damaged in a severe injury. I'm not sure what time of day it was, but a few hours after I got thrown into a cage, somebody came into the room and I screamed. When I saw who it was, I was relieved. Relieved but mad. It was Jay and Skylar, who had laughed at me before, and now apparently came here to rescue me. What do you want? You laughed at me, and now you want to rescue me after you figure out I'm worthless? I said. No. Another thing you contract when you become corrupted is a glitching voice, which happens because the computer chip inside you starts to control your voice. We're here to save you, and I'm sorry I took your glove. I'm sorry I took the arm of your jacket. I'm sorry I embarrassed you, and I'm really sorry I laughed at you. I promise I won't do any of that stuff ever again. At least to you. I'll find somebody else to do it to after we get out of here, said Jay. Too bad. You won't be able to do that stuff to anybody else anyway, because you aren't going to get out of here, said Mr. Hellers. Mr. Galaxy, we need you right now, and it's for a very important reason. Yes, sir. Do you need more cages for corruptos, more nuclear weapons, or a cup of coffee? Asked Mr. Galaxy. Actually, I need 2 more cages for these idiots, and a cup of coffee would be nice too. So get to it, yelled Mr. Hellers. After Mr. Galaxy got more cages and a cup of coffee for his master, Mr. Hellers left, leaving us with the strongest guy around. But one thing that made all 3 of us shocked, Mr. Galaxy didn't put us in cages. He just started talking to us. Why aren't you putting us in cages? Aren't you loyal to the Hellers? Skylar asked. I am. I just can't make myself do it. I was in a cage too once. Thing is, I'm not from this planet. People just call me Mr. Galaxy because they're scared of me, and they'll do anything so I don't beat them up. That was in grade school, though. When the Hellers found out that I had no parents, they took advantage of me and asked if I wanted to live with them. I said yes instantly, but that was my biggest mistake ever. All they really wanted me to do was heavy workload so they didn't have to do it. You see, I came from a city on a completely different planet that went into a nuclear winter, so my parents had to move to a different planet. The only problem with the escape pods could only hold 2 people, so I had to share a pod with my best friend, who doesn't even go to this school. Sadly, my parents didn't make it to this planet, so I had to live with my best friend, who got adopted and then moved. Then I was on my own, and that's when the Hellers asked me to live with them, said Mr. Galaxy. If you hate working here that much, then why don't you just leave? Asked Skylar, who tapped Jay so he would pay attention. There's one problem. The Hellers are huge haters of corruption. So if I leave, then they'll think I'm corrupted, and then they'll kill me with poisonous gas from the secret compartment of this building. You always talk about the secret compartment. What's exactly in it? I've been there once. There are only a few weapons and a lot of cash. That's all I remember. They told me to tell everybody else who asked about it to tell them it was weapons and only that they would be intimidated and even more scared of Tara and her family than they already are. I have an idea. Let's get out of here, grab some cash for you, and find a good family that will accept you, Mr. Galaxy. Then, without their most loyal slave, the Hellers will have to do everything by themselves, and all of us citizens can finally break free from the Hellers' grip, said Jay. All right, just one more thing I have to tell you. My real name is Saturn, so just call me that. Now let's get out of this prison, yelled Saturn. Saturn could led us to the secret compartment of the castle, where we took all the cash we could carry and an electricity jammer to knock out all the cameras and wipe their memory clean, and got out of there. Getting out of there was pretty easy, except for when one of the entrance guards asked us what we were doing. "Where are you going, Mr. Galaxy?" asked the guard. "I'm not going anywhere of importance. Just need to get some more cages," replied Saturn. "What do you mean, more cages? There are so many more people in the Hey, where do you think you're going, Mr. Galaxy? You aren't supposed to leave." We just kept walking past the guards. "You can't just leave like that. We have to serve the 3 dictators of this land. Mr. Galaxy, get back here," screamed the guard. We just kept walking, and eventually the guard set off an alarm. We started to run, and luckily we hid behind a building and stopped to catch our breath. Unfortunately, the side we did hide on had a huge group of people in front of it, and 2 of those people were my mom and my dad. People probably weren't too happy to see me, especially the ones who had bandages all over their bodies. They were probably the people I attacked. "It's the corrupted! Get him!" screamed one person. "Wait, don't attack Halo. It's not his fault he's corrupted. The Hellers embedded a computer chip inside of him, and it has just become damaged, so he's a little different. Just because he's a little different doesn't mean you have to kill him, does it? To the people that Halo attacked, it was nothing personal. It's just when you become corrupted, you can't control your body. It's all the Hellers' fault that he's corrupted. And that weapon compartment of their castle, it's only a few weapons and the rest of it is your cash. So how about we stick up for each other and give them nightmares like they did to us, stealing our cash and hurting us both physically and mentally. Unlike this eclipse, they can't cover up their dirty work anymore. So let's get them," yelled Saturn. We marched right up to the Hellers' castle and pinned the guards to the wall. Then we split up, and half of us went to the secret compartment, and the other half of us went into the throne room to capture the Hellers. "Mr. Galaxy, I thought you were supposed to be doing my laundry, and doing the dishes, and doing my math homework," cried Tara. "I'm not your slave. From now on, you'll be doing the dishes, laundry, and your own homework. I'm not scared if you're threatening to kill me. I know that you don't have any fast-working weapons. Just the poisonous gas you were planning to release into the city after everybody went to bed tonight," said Saturn. "Oh, and one more thing. My name is Saturn. Don't say that there's only weapons in the secret compartment, because there's the citizens' cash back there too," said Tara. "If you're not stupid, then why did you just give away the contents of the compartment that's no longer a secret?" "What? Whatever. I'm going back there now. One more thing. We aren't friends anymore. To be honest, a person like you doesn't have friends. I was your friend to begin with, and all those girls who are your so-called friends are just as brainless as you are." When Tara went to this so-called secret compartment, she looked in there with horror in her evil blue eyes as people took as much money, as much weapons and cash as their arms could carry. All of a sudden, the citizens pinned Tara to the wall as Saturn pulled out a small mechanism kind of shaped like a gun. Then he pulled the trigger 4 times. All I can say is that 4 giant boomerang-shaped projectiles came flying out of the barrel of the mechanism and pinned her arms and legs to the wall so the citizens didn't have to hold her anymore. "So you like people doing everything for you, huh? Well, from now on, 3 people will be coming in every day, 3 times a day, to feed you and your parents like children. And if you don't like what we're serving, then your luck just ran out. And your entertainment for the day will be about the alphabet," said Saturn. After we left the castle, I had one more question for Saturn. "What about my corruption, Saturn? Is there any way I can fix it?" I asked. "There is definitely a way, and I can fix you myself. The computer chip is buried right underneath the first layer of your skin in your upper right arm. Best of all, you don't even need to be put to sleep, and the removal only pinches a little bit," said Saturn. After he explained that to me, he removed the computer chip, and I went back to normal. As for the Hellers, well, they got what they wanted, somebody to do everything for them. Saturn got a permanent family and was appreciated at school for releasing everybody from the Hellers' grip. One more thing. I made a new friend. His name is Saturn Galaxy.